Good morning and welcome to Sunday worship. It is so good to be with you all this morning. Happy Valentine's Day. Welcome to First Parish Brewster Sunday service. We are a Unitarian Universalist welcoming congregation of people of diverse philosophies and beliefs, people of various cultures and races, sexual orientations, gender identities, abilities, and socioeconomic backgrounds. Whoever you are, wherever you are on your path, may this be a place of rest and restoration on your journey. For those of you who may be first-time visitors this morning, a big welcome and happy Valentine's Day to you. You are in for a treat this morning. Welcome on this morning, which we make sacred by our presence together. If you are visiting, please let us know in the chat box. A big welcome as well to people phoning in. We're so glad you are here. And a big welcome to all of our visitors from the UU Church of Falmouth. Welcome everyone from Falmouth. We're so glad you're choosing to worship with us this Sunday. We're so glad you're here. I'm Reverend Jessica Clay, the minister here, happy to be welcoming you to service this morning with Maggie Baker on tech support and Donica Buckley, our music director. Leading the service today will be members of our LGBTQ Welcoming Congregation Committee. You saw a picture of them at the end of the prelude, and you will hear from many of them throughout this service. Next Sunday, you're invited to join us for a Sunday service focused on building a new way. Laura Wagner, the executive director of UU Mass Action, will be our guest preacher next Sunday. And she will be preaching about how do we create justice? What does it mean to be a good ally? At UU Mass Action, they center the leadership of those who are directly impacted by injustice and work within coalitions to build the power needed for systemic change in our Commonwealth. And so come to this service to learn about what's happening and how you can get involved next Sunday at 10 a.m. So many visitors here this Sunday. I see all of your chats in the chat box. Great to have you all from as far as California. It's real early there. Welcome. We're so glad you're here. And Canada, welcome everyone. In community news announcements, has your committee RSVP'd for the Come Together meeting on Saturday, February 27th from 9-11? We are from 9 to 11. We will be gathering all committees to share how the year is going. And our goal is to have at least one member of every committee, group, or board in attendance. And so we encourage all of those who are curious to attend in order to learn more about what's happening at First Parish Brewster and about the leadership here. Please RSVP to cove@firstparishbrewster.org if you plan to attend and what committees you will be representing. I see we have more visitors from Michigan, Mashpee, Scotland. Wonderful. Welcome. A few people from Michigan. That's wonderful. Thanks for joining us this morning. Additionally, in community news announcements, all are welcome to join us on Saturday, February 27th after the Come Together meeting that afternoon for a ritual honoring 1 year of the pandemic. Please bring a stone with a word or a phrase written on it to add to our altar. This will occur in the northeast corner of the solar field parking lot. Please bring masks and stay in your car until instructed to go to the altar. If your last name is A through L, please come between 1 and 2 p.m. And if your last name is M through Z, please come between 2 and 3. And if you are a visitor or thinking about joining us, joining as a new member, at the same time on Saturday the 27th, in the parking lot, the membership committee will have a table up to get more information about the community here, and you can come and meet members of the membership committee and sign the membership book. If you have questions, contact Susan Smith. Her email is in the weekly angle. Additionally, the next day, the 28th, all are invited to attend a financial presentation at 11:30 after the Sunday service. That is the 28th at 11:30, offered by the Finance Committee and the board. It's sort of our 6-month state of the church, how are things going conversation. So mark your calendars for the 28th at 11:30. You're invited to have a chalice nearby this morning for a chalice lighting. So if you don't have one nearby, go ahead and get one. Our services are captioned. You need to turn on the caption in your menu bar. As soon as we launch into our call to worship, which will be shortly, we are going to turn off the chat box so that people can be present to the service. If people say things that really move you, I encourage you to contact them after the service. We will be turning the chat back on at the very end of the service. So if you have a burning comment that you really want to share, we will be turning it back on at the end of the service, but we have received feedback that it can be quite distracting to people during the service, so we will be turning it off. So ends our announcements. Welcome to worship today. It is so good to be together. And happy Valentine's Day.
Good morning. I'm Joanne Hush, and I invite you to share this morning as I light my chalice to honor love. Love is the doctrine of this church. The reading this morning is by Maureen Caloran, and its title is Love. Love is the aspiration, the spirit that moves and inspires this faith we share. Rightly understood, love can nurture our spirits and transform the world. May the flame of this chalice honor and embody the power and the blessing of the love we need, the love we give, the love we are challenged always to remember and share.
We cleared off the table, leftovers saved, washed the dishes and put them away. I told you a story, tucked you in tight at the end of your knockabout day. As the moon sets its sails to carry you to sleep over the midnight sea, I will sing you a song no one sang to me. May it keep you good company. Oh, you can be anybody you want to be. You can love whomever you will. You can travel any country where your heart beats, and know that I will love you still. You can live by yourself, you can gather friends around, you can choose one special one, and the only measure of your words and your deeds will be the love you leave behind when you're done. There are girls who grow up strong and bold. There are boys quiet and kind. Some race on ahead, some follow behind. Some go in their own way at times. Some women love women, some men love men. Some raise children, some never do. You can dream all the day, never reach the end of everything possible for you. Don't be rattled by names, by taunts, by names, but seek out spirits true. If you give your You can be anybody you want to be. You can love whomever you will. You can travel any country where your heart beats, and know that I will love you still. You can live by yourself. You can gather friends around. You can choose one special one. And the only measure of your words and your deeds will be the love you leave behind when you're done.
Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. I'm Skip Bell, a member of the LGBTQ Welcoming Congregation Committee, and I'm here to share with you a brief history of the Gala Ball. Sadly, as most of you know, because of COVID, we have had to cancel a ball for this year. Over 20 years ago, the Welcoming Congregation Committee of First Parish Brewster sent out invitations to their very first Gala Ball. First Parish had recently become the first church in the country to earn the UUA's designation of welcoming congregation after hours of study, discussion, and vote by the entire congregation. This meant that the church was committed to becoming intentionally welcoming to the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer communities, to be fully included into all aspects of congregational life. The committee decided they wanted to throw a big party to help bring together all the different people, groups, and organizations that were working to improve the lives of LGBTQ people here on Cape Cod. This was an effort to reduce the loneliness and isolation that many felt and to strengthen the community bonds to encourage us all in our work. Initially, the invitation responses were slow to come back. Then during one Sunday service, Elenita Muniz read an anonymous, hateful response from an FPB member saying he would not be attending. The following week, reservations came flowing in. Over 300 LGBTQ people and their straight allies danced together at the Sheraton Hotel in Hyannis. Many of the gay couples had never danced together in a public setting before. Over the years, the invitation list grew as we reached out through Interface Network to other Cape Cod congregations and community groups. In 2009, Skip Warren, one of the Gala Ball's founders, died due to complications from AIDS. A special award was created in his name to recognize each year one or more individuals who have made significant contributions to the lives of LGBTQ persons. The Gala Ball has become a major fundraising event. In the past 20 years, over $60,000 has been raised, and proceeds have been used to support LGBTQ nonprofit organizations on the Cape and New England, and the work of First Parish Brewster UU. The Gala Ball is about honoring who we are, embracing every beautiful part of ourselves, and whom we choose to love. Later on in this service, we're showing a wonderful video montage of Gala Ball images. And who knows, maybe next year we'll see you on the dance floor. Next year in February of 2022. Thank you.
Thank you, Skip. Who's ready for the dance floor next year? That's a great call to remembering that things won't always be like this. We won't always be limited to this medium, but celebrating our history and celebrating the memories that we've created up until this point is a really valuable and important thing. Now is the time in the service where we make space for prayer, we make space for centering. So I invite you to settle into your seat. If you are seated, if you're standing, maybe stop what you're doing for a moment. If you're maybe preparing breakfast or cleaning your house or just moving things around, I invite you to just be still for a moment. Cast your eyes down or close them. Tune into your heart this morning. Tune into your body. There may be noises in the background. I invite you to just set those aside. You don't need to create a story about them. Just tune into you in this moment as we make a little space for stillness. Spirit of life and love, one who goes by many names, named and unnamed, we lift up our loving hearts on this Valentine's Day. We begin our prayer this morning naming that this day may be hard for those who are single, who are dealing with heartbreak and grief, with images of what this day is supposed to mean all around us. And so we lift up these tender hearts, especially on this day. We also lift up the hearts of all of the people who are distressed with the news of the impeachment trial, the news of the acquittal, the ways that once again so many of our elected representatives voted against justice, against accountability. We acknowledge that heartbreak is present. And yet we pray that we may turn our hearts to love again, that love will be our fuel for justice, that love will move us in kindness towards ourselves and each other, and will move us to work to create a more just and more equitable world. We pray that this day we may learn to be more loving. Our hearts may be more open to loving ourselves and each other, to bringing more kindness and more justice into the world. That we may remember that love is needed to transform the world, and it starts with each of us. Help us to hear this call, to answer it, and to feel the love of this community, of this interdependent web surrounding us when we need it. Even if this is the only time you attend service in this community, know that you are held in this web of community, held in this web of love on this day. Amen. Next, we have a reading offered by Nancy Dutiel and Diane Wilcox.
Good morning. My name is Nancy Dutiel.
And I'm Diane Wilcox. The reading this morning is Riverhouse Stories by Andrea Carlisle. She loved loving her, out past the edges of the world's agreement, beyond the rules of her childhood, beyond even her own mind. She loved her and loved loving her.
The loving brought forth in her all of her courage as well as her limitations, all of her blind desire to be like the others, to melt in, to be invisible.
It took her out of the role she thought she would grow up to fill. It took her away from should be and forced her to create her own vision of what life could be.
And beyond all of that was the woman she loved, living a life from nothing more than her own imagination, and she was beautiful.
Hi, my name is Linda Bailey Davies, and this is my wife, Gloria Bailey Davies. When we met, I was 25 and you were 30, which was 50 years ago. Been together 50 years. So sweet.
And we needed a lot of time to make up for the beginning, because in the beginning I did a lot of push-pull with Gloria because I was so conflicted about being a lesbian that it wasn't a very fun time. I'm glad we had a lot of years to make up for that. It was tough back then, wasn't it?
It was very tough back then. I mean, we certainly were very drawn to each other and very passionate in our relationship, but we were terrified, actually, about anyone else ever discovering that we were lesbians. So we had no lesbian or gay friends. We had no straight friends that we were out to. We had no role models. We didn't know anybody, even in public, who was a lesbian couple. So it was very, very difficult. We could not really imagine even what life would be like if we could be open and out and comfortable and in our own skin comfortable.
So that's part of the reason I think we were working at an agency, both social workers, and we decided we better start our own practice so that we'd be safe from any discrimination that might happen, which was a great experience, wasn't it? I mean, we were able to work together, and we ended up commuting down here for
over 25 years. We had a place down here and commuted back to Hartford every week to do our psychotherapy practice, but it worked.
But one of the things we felt was missing was any kind of church community. I mean, we had both been involved in churches growing up, and somebody told us about First Parish, and they said, "Oh, it'll be great. You'll be very accepted there." And we were looking at each other thinking, "I don't think so." But we finally took the risk and went. And Jim Robinson was the minister there, and the first words out of his mouth that day were, "If you're gay, if you're lesbian, we not only welcome you, we celebrate your relationship." Tears, tears, tears. And he was right, actually. I mean, I think First Parish has celebrated our relationships and all the LGBT people.
And it's really transformed our lives. I mean, it made our dream, really, it wasn't even a dream, but it made it possible for us to come fully into being our whole selves everywhere. And it gave us the courage. It even gave us the courage to join with the 7 other couples to sue Massachusetts for the right to marry, which was very important to us. So it's just like, anytime I think of Valentine's Day, I think of the love we feel for First Parish and how much it has meant to have in our lives. So I'm sorry we're not at the gala ball. We'd love to have done that. But we just want to make sure, all of you, and some of you newer people who don't even know us, what a difference it's made in the lives of our whole LGBTQ community. To have First Parish as the community where we really can all be our authentic selves and live openly and lovingly together.
And First Parish, I mean, they were so behind us in the lawsuit.
Oh,
they were just so supportive. I mean, even at the beginning of that, we were still kind of closeted. And I remember the first day that came out in the paper that we were going to be suing, and there was a picture of us on the front page, and Gloria didn't leave the house for 2 days. So, but First Parish was behind us every step of the way. It's been just terrific. So we're sitting here, married, still in love, and feel like we're the luckiest people in the world.
Absolutely. It's just been an entire life transformation to be living the life of our dreams.
So thank you, everybody.
Everybody, I'm Daniel.
I'm Armando.
And I'm going to tell you the story of our meeting. This Labor Day will be 25 years that we first met. We met in a shopping mall on that Labor Day when I was going shopping for a picnic, and Armando was working at a hair salon there. We had never met before. I was in Macy's. I was going up the escalator. He was going down, or the other way around, because neither one of us remembers. We caught each other's eye. We got together, started talking, and as the saying goes, it was love at first sight, and we haven't been separate since. Has it been an easy ride? Of course not. But has it been worth it? I wouldn't change it for anything in the world. We've had our own family, first with cats, now with our dog Lola. The first thing I shared with Armando was my love for Cape Cod, and our first vacation there was in Cape Cod, and every year since we've returned. And now this year, just before or maybe slightly after our 25th anniversary, we'll be moving to Cape Cod permanently to live our dream. And that's our story.
Hello, I'm Mary Jo Jolette.
And I'm Judy Jolette.
We're the Jolettes. We met in 1976 as working as critical care nurses at Georgetown University Hospital in Washington, D.C. Her car broke down, and I lived nearby, so I would pick her up and we would drive to work together.
We started a friendship, playing tennis, riding bikes, and sharing our feelings about the budding feminist movement. Our friendship deepened, and we started a romantic relationship.
After a year, we ended our conventional marriages and we moved in together. I knew she was the one when we made a home for ourselves, and it felt right.
But we had challenges earlier in our relationship. Being closeted lesbians without social and cultural support was very, very stressful. We broke up a few times, but in the end, it strengthened our commitment to each other.
Initially, the biggest challenge was my large Catholic family. Most of them didn't accept us as a couple. However, over the years, as society has evolved and changed, so have they.
Another challenge we faced was my father, who had very advanced Alzheimer's disease. He required 24/7 care, and we took care of him in our home. I know that Mary Jo is the only person who would have taken on that commitment with me, and I am really grateful for that.
You're welcome. We've always been supportive of each other's interests and desires. We explore, learn, and do things, sometimes individually, but mostly together. We laugh a lot. I love her jokes and her sense of humor, her brilliance, and her beautiful kindness and spirit. She makes me want to be a better human being. I also love her cooking. We are honest with each other and work out any disagreements we might have.
Mary Jo is loving, smart, capable, funny, flexible, very easygoing. Just so very easy to live with. I love that she likes my cooking. I like that we are so compatible in so many ways. Our life has been wonderful. The joy of sharing a home and daily life. Yes, it's the daily life. It's just so good to be together.
First Parish has had and still is having a huge effect on us. We went to our first gala ball in 2003. We were shocked when we saw gays and straights all publicly dancing together. We went to church the next morning for the first time ever, and everyone, and I mean everyone, was kind and supportive. I kept waiting for the other shoe to drop, and I'm still waiting. We are so grateful. We were married at First Parish in 2004. Finally marrying the woman I love, it was one of the most profound days of my life.
So profound. At this church, I have felt completely normal. It was a normalcy that I never felt anywhere else in my life, but in First Parish Brewster. For that, I am so very grateful. I just want to add that for years, Mary Jo and I may wake up at different times and come downstairs to find that we are dressed alike. But Mary Jo usually offers to change. But today we decided to just keep it this way.
Because that's who we are.
Thank you, First Parish.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you all for sharing your reflections. How lovely are they? So lovely to hear people's stories. Now is the time in the service where we collect for our offertory plate. Each week we have the practice of splitting our plate Half of the donations received go to the work of First Parish Brewster, and half go to a organization out in the community, or sometimes the wider community. The organization that we are splitting the plate with this week, which was picked by the LGBTQ Welcoming Congregation Committee, is the AIDS Support Group of Cape Cod. Some of you may have heard of the AIDS Support Group of Cape Cod, but if you haven't, let me tell you a little bit about what they do. Many of this agency's direct services include comprehensive medical case management, transportation assistance, housing assistance, access to food and nutrition services, and a wide range of other services to help people living with HIV and AIDS lead healthy lives. Medical case management is one of the most important services provided by them. Their staff has expertise in navigating a complex benefit system available to clients, and they help find doctors, mental health services, dentists, and other health-related professionals so that people not only survive, but thrive. Also, safe and secure housing is critical for people living with HIV and AIDS to help maintain a healthy quality of life. Since 1996, they have operated a 10-unit congregate housing facility known as the Foley House in Provincetown for clients who experience housing disparities. It's been home to nearly 75 people over its 17-year history. There are a couple ways you can give this morning. You can text to give, the number's in the chat box. You can also mail a check to First Parish Brewster, made out to First Parish Brewster with split plate and today's date, February 14th on it, or you can go to our website to give as well. However you choose to share this morning, thank you for your generosity, for the ways that you share your resources with this congregation and with this group that is helping to make a difference in people's lives right here on Cape Cod. The offertory will now be gratefully received.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ricky Bates. I'm a member of the LGBTQ Welcoming Congregation Committee. I'm trans, and I prefer female pronouns. Right off the top here, I want to express my love for First Parish. This community means so much to me, and I'm particularly impressed with and admire my friends here who've been in long-term committed relationships. So many great stories here today. I just find so inspiring. I wish I had a similar story to share with you, but I don't. I actually got married on Valentine's Day. I don't think many people here know that. Didn't last. Turns out candy hearts melt in the rain, really. They get crushed easy. You know, statistically speaking, trans people don't have a good chance at finding a lasting relationship, finding a significant other who will stick it out with them. There's a lot of reasons for that. But anyway, you know, in my case, and this is something that's maybe misunderstood by a lot of people, I'm transgender. That's my gender identity. For me, the only people I've ever felt romantically attracted to are cisgender, meaning non-trans women. I'm not at all attracted to trans people. I have a lot of trans friends, and I love my trans friends, but it's just not who I feel romantically towards. So in the case of my getting married on Valentine's Day, I was still not out yet fully as a transgender person. Hardly anybody knew my secret, but I met my wife-to-be and I asked her out on a date, and I figured, you know, if there's ever going to be a relationship that's going to make sense, I have to be honest about myself. So I told her about my being trans on our first date. Actually, the word transgender didn't exist at that time, so it was a little harder to express what was going on with my feelings. But my wife-to-be was fine with it. It didn't bother her at all. And so that was great. And so it seemed like, you know, a match made in heaven. And everything was okay, except for one thing, which is another piece about being trans and love, and that it's hard to find a way to love yourself when you're trans, especially when you're hiding your true identity away from the rest of the world. the path towards self-love, when you're trans, it means that you have to be authentic. So in my case, when I got married, I wasn't being authentic to the rest of the world. So that kind of simmered inside of me. And over time, I just found that I needed to be real in the outside world. And that meant coming out. And while my wife was fine with me expressing my gender identity, on a part-time basis, maybe a couple times a month or something like that, when it got to the point of me having to be myself all the time, that was really hard for her. And so when I finally decided I had to come out, she asked me if we could separate and go our separate ways. And that broke my heart. However, I did it with love. We separated with love because I still loved her and she loved me in her own way. So that was the end of that. And I find women occasionally who really like me, but most of them just like me in sort of like the best friend forever kind of way. Like nobody really wants to be my honey. So Valentine's Day is kind of tough for me. I've tried like 100 times to get through this video without crying, and I just can't do it. So I'm sorry. I need some candy. Time for the Russell Stovers.
Hi everyone, my name's Gil, for those who don't know me, and I identify as non-binary and use they/them pronouns. In a sentence, that would be they went to bed, or they are eating, or they're going to the store. Being non-binary for me means that I feel as though my identity exists outside the binary of man and woman. When I get dressed in the morning, I might dress masculine or feminine or neither, but I would never say that I'm dressing like a man or like a woman, because that's not me. So when people use they/them pronouns for me, it doesn't have that affiliation with gender, so I feel more like they're seeing me for who I am. I appreciate that FPB is a space where we can freely explore our identities. Explore is the key word there, because if you have a loved one who comes out to you as trans, non-binary, gender fluid, whatever, it means that they're trying to explore who they are in this world. Simple as that. And aren't you lucky that they trust you to support them on this journey? So always make sure to be kind and have an open mind. You guys are good at that. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. I miss you so.
You can cry a million tears. You can wait a million years. If you think that time will change your ways, don't wait too long. And when your morning turns to night, well, who'll be loving you by candlelight? If you think that time will change your ways, don't wait too long. Well, maybe I've got a lot to learn. Time can slip away, and sometimes you've got to lose it all before you find your way. So take that chance, play your part, make romance, it might break your heart. But if you think that time will change your ways, don't wait too long. will age like the fine red wine. But if you think that time will change your ways, don't wait too long. So take a chance, play your part, make romance. It might break your heart, but if you think that time will change your ways, don't wait too long. Well, don't wait. Don't wait. Don't wait.
Thank you to all who shared reflections today, reflections about what this day means to them, about what this community means to them, about what love and being authentically themselves means to them. We've heard from members of this congregation. We've heard their love stories. We heard about the history of the gala ball, the importance of it in honoring who we are and celebrating the diversity of who we love. We heard stories about how hard it was to come out, the pain of being closeted. We heard stories of how love prevailed, the joy of love that stretches over time. We heard stories of how this community has allowed people to become themselves fully. We heard stories of love at first sight on an escalator, which is the stuff of movies until today. It really does happen in real life. We heard stories of love that makes you want to be a better person. We heard stories about the path towards self-love, about that call towards authenticity. We heard reflections about how Valentine's Day is hard. And so if this service has been hard for you, I hear that. And you are still welcome in this circle. We heard stories about the importance for places to explore our identities, to feel held, to feel as safe as we can be, to feel brave. So if you are visiting this morning, if this is not your regular community, my wish for you is that you have those places to explore your identity and to feel held in a community of love. And if you don't have those, may you find one, or may you find it here in this community. And so over our wide range of stories this morning, maybe you have seen yourself reflected in these, or maybe felt a longing or a recognition in some of these stories. And so today, this Valentine's Day, may this be an invitation to you to turn towards love again and again for yourself and for others. May you carry these stories with you like the treasure that they are, and carry the love for this community, for the ways that we are connected deep within your heart. And sometimes it's easier to love other people than ourselves. But Bell Hooks says, when we can see ourselves as we truly are and accept ourselves, we build the necessary foundation for self-love. Whether we learn how to love ourselves and others will depend on the presence of a loving environment. Self-love cannot flourish in isolation. I know it's ironic that I'm reading that quote in the midst of a pandemic when we're all so isolated, but I hope in this imperfect online medium this morning that you feel connected into this community and held in this circle of love. That you know that we want your self-love to flourish. We want you to care and gently love yourself as you care and gently love others. May you feel that loving environment in this community. In this service today and the reflections shared by our LGBTQ members, may you feel that love of community to help you to be a more fully loving being. May we celebrate love in all of its forms today and in the days ahead. May we go towards joy. In the midst of this difficult time, may you find some kernels of joy, even if it's just in a box of chocolates. Or the other day, I made myself cookie dough, not because I wanted cookies, because I wanted the dough, and it just sits in my fridge and I have a spoonful every time I just need it. And so whatever's bringing you joy right now, may you go towards that joy and feel held in the love of this community. Amen, and blessed be.